All right, so I'm just freestyling this one out real quick. Uh yeah, I want to talk about I'll probably get into a couple subjects in this video, but I first want to start with we have these platitudes in this world, if that's what I want to call it. We have like these positive affirmation quotes that people say, like be happy, be positive. What are some other ones? A lot of you have heard them. A lot of you might go by these, and you might need that to give you a push, or to get you through the day, or to tell yourself to cope with these things. And look, I have no problem if that's what someone else has to do, but it's just that I am someone that how I am is, it's like, don't think that I'm supposed to go by those things or to push them on me, because I'm someone that just, when someone says these kinds of things like be happy, you know what I mean? Like be happy, or just whatever anybody says. I can't think of any other ones. There's hundreds and hundreds of them out here. But the thing is, when you're a person like me, that the way that you really are, because of the hand that life has dealt you and the person that you have become over time because of life and circumstances. Like with me, if I have what I need, then I'm more content and I'm not worrying so much. Like for me, the thing that stresses me the hell out, the thing that gets me in my ruts and gets me depressed, is usually financial things. And I could go into a tirade, I can go into a rant about how it's this thing and this thing, and I don't want to do that. It's just when I'm having financial things go on, that is when I'm stressed the hell out and I'm worrying about it, because the rent is due. You don't have enough rent, you gotta worry. The car insurance is due. You don't have enough to pay that. Oh, well, you gotta, maybe your car insurance will get taken away. And it's that if I have what I need, I'm not really so worried about everything else. There's something that Arthur Arcturus said in one of his videos. He said that happiness is a state of the body, and I agree with that. Happiness is when you are healthy, when you feel good inside of your own skin. See, it has nothing to do with like when we think that we're not happy and like things are so wrong. They're not really wrong. It's just the storm. It's the turmoil going on in one's thoughts, in one's mind. And that's where a lot of problems and stuff comes from too, is the mind. And we like to think there's more of a problem with some things than what there actually is. And then sometimes we do the opposite thing. We like to act like there's not a problem when there is a problem. And see, if we're people that just, depending on how you discern this or how you interpret it as a person, when one person says something, one person is going to interpret it different. Like when I say that be happy doesn't work for me, because to me that is not human. It's not my humanness to just say, "Oh, be happy right away," because usually I'm not happy. I'm not happy. I was watching this video. If I get the link, I will leave you the link in the video if I remember. It's by a guy named Steve something. And I'm sorry, I'm sick, y'all. So, yeah, I'm coughing up yellow, like really dark yellowish brown phlegm and stuff right now. So, not too great, but it's like every time someone is having an issue or a problem or someone's feeling something, we always want to fix it. We always want to tell someone be happy and whatever. And but then again, there's a contradiction because I understand that people have to do what they have to do to cope. I understand that everybody is just trying to survive here. I understand that. But then at the same time, it's like a forcing thing. It's like I first have to get to the thing that is going on before I can release that thing. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like I don't really want to use this as an example, but it's kind of like sex, you know. We automatically have hormones. Men have testosterone, women have estrogen. Sooner or later, you're going to blow up if you have a sex drive. There needs to be some release. You can't just say, "Oh, I got to hold on. I got to hold on. I got to suppress. I got to suppress. I have to suppress and suppress and suppress and suppress." Sooner or later, you're going to blow up like a volcano. You're 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 going to need that release. And it's like with this, people that do the kind of like semen retention stuff. That's fine. That's fine if people want to do that. Yes, you do get more energy and you do feel better about yourself, but you're still neglecting your natural thing though if you go too long. Do you understand what I mean? Like, and I'm just using this as an example. I don't care who does it or who doesn't do it. I'm not here to talk for anybody else. I'm not here to talk for the person watching. I'm speaking for myself. But sooner or later, these things have got to be said. They have to be exercised. It's like it's like metaphorical demons in your mind. They have to be exercised. It has to be talked about. There has to be a release. There has to be a mechanism there. There has to be something there to cope. If we're not coping, then we're not living life. Like this is what I don't get about some people that now some people are even talking about how coping is bullshit. I'm like, come on, y'all. What are we talking about here? We have to cope. We're human beings. We have to cope. We have to find things to distract us, or we have to find serenity in the silence, or we have to find something to whatever. I mean, this is just absurd to me. Even in the absurdness, it's absurd to say something like that. But there is no way to put this together. I can't piece this together for anybody because there is no piecing this together. It's just I think that for people like me, I can't tell anybody to get rid of these things or whatever because then I would become a tyrant. I would become some uh whatever leader is called. I hate when I can't think of simple words. I would become some like Adolf Hitler telling other people what to do if I said, "Oh, well, you can do this, but you can't do that." For me, just for me, I'm not going to have things around me like that say be happy or whatever other positive affirmation. I just can't live by those things because I see life for how life is, and I'm not in denial of things. And when you're not in denial of things, you're gonna have to, there's gonna be turmoil, there's gonna be things going on, there's gonna be stuff that you need to talk about all the freaking time. It just what how I'm going for to get to this, it's so hard to pinpoint through words what I'm going for to tell you, that whoever's listening, but I know you understand some of what I'm saying. But we have these platitudes that every day we look at and say, I have to be that, I have to be that, I have to be that. I think for myself, we need to stop doing this. We need to stop putting this pressure on ourselves to do more than what is already happening. Like, do you have what you need? Do you have food, and do you have water, and do you have shelter, and do you have the bare necessities of life? Then that needs to be good enough. That's good enough. Now, anything extra, that's up to you to do. See, anything extra is up to you to make a hobby out of it. See, the capitalistic, you have to understand something about capitalism. Here's something that I realized about this whole thing. And I'm not going to describe this to a T to any of you, because I can't do that. It's impossible for me to make you interpret exactly what I'm saying. I'm just doing the best through my words to make people understand this. But what we should be using the capitalistic system for is to be as self-sustaining as we can be. Now, in this video, I'm going to sound hypocritical because I'm not even doing some of these things yet. I'm not even there. It's not even coming to fruition with me yet. But in order to get to that point to where we can have what we need, and we can be content with what we need, and we can focus on our health and stuff, we first have to use the capitalistic system. We have to use money and resources to get to that point. Because listen, there is no such thing. There's no such thing as independence here. There is no independent person. We all rely on each other. Now, do I really have to explain why this is? I will give y'all a quick little thing to make you understand what I mean. When we go to the job we go to, did we build that building? Did we put the machines and the supplies and all this in there? No. The car we drive, did we build that? Did we put it together? Were we the mind behind it? No. Did we grow the food? Did we go get the seed, plant the seed, water the seed, dig up the ground, plant the food, pick the food out of the ground, package the food, put the food in bags, bring it to the store, put it on the shelf? There's people with cash registers at the store. We have to start understanding that these things that we're being told don't really exist. They don't really exist. We just are led to believe that they exist because we got to have some kind of dream to follow. We have to have something to look up to or look forward to. But some of the things that we're doing that with, I'm sorry to say, are they're just something that is, once you understand it, you'll say it's not what I thought it was. And I'm going to lose train of thought in these videos because what I'm saying is it's so to the point of what it really is that I can't really, I can't stay on track with what I'm saying. It's impossible, because once you understand this, you understand that the most important thing here is having your needs and surviving, and that squashes a lot of things. That squashes a lot of things. And we should be using this capitalistic system that we're in, Because listen, I'm going to be honest with y'all. What I thought before, I've changed my mind because now I see I was way in over my head with some of the things I was thinking. It doesn't mean that it can't happen, though. See, here's what I'm trying to say. It doesn't mean that it cannot happen because it can happen. It can happen if only if we would take the action to do it. But most people are not going to do it. But we have to realize that whether we like people or don't like people, whether whatever we do with other people or how we see the world, we all need each other here to survive. There's very few people that can get a saw and an axe and a knife and a fishing pole and go out in the woods in the middle of nowhere. And if someone has a fishing pole and catches fish and cooks them up every night and whatever, which you know me as whatever, I don't really want to condone that anyway, but if just say that there's like I don't know, someone goes out in nature and they can do that and then they can start cutting up some trees and they can build a little shelter for themselves and they have a water supply and they can make a fire and they can boil the water to drink. There's very few people that are going to be able to live like that. There's very few people that want to live like that. And we really don't have to live like that. But the thing is, we're living in a world now where, like I said before, there is no sense of community anymore. There is no communal efforts going on towards a refuge, towards a self-sustaining place. That's not happening. Nobody's making it happen. And the reason that I'm having trouble starting it is because it is this thing with being in the predicament I'm in right now and having to get it started and having to, find the necessary resources to do it and all that. And I don't want to get into that because I'm not describing that right now. But yes, it is. It's very frustrating because all that we should be focusing on is needs, what we need, and then focusing on extracurricular activities. You know, survival and extracurricular activities. Survival and a hobby. Survival and then whatever it is. Because there's so much fear being spread around. There's so much mistrust and fear being spread around that nobody trusts anybody anymore. Everybody's like, I don't know if I should do this or do this. And this kind of fear mongering goes on, but at the same time, life itself kind of has a fear mongering aspect to it. It's very hard to describe what I mean to people, and it just seems like even though I know there's people that do understand, it's just I don't think there's enough people taking the action to do these things, and I even feel like a hypocrite myself right now. I'm doing little things in my spare time, but yet, see, artistical things and creative things are somewhat the same, but they're kind of different from real life. It's like there's a separation between the two, but at the same time, there's not a separation between the two. They kind of go hand in hand, but at the same time, a lot of it does go hand in hand. I do put whatever goes on up here into what I'm saying, into what I'm writing, into what I'm doing and whatever. But then I have my play times and I'm playing. But then when it's time for me to get serious, I have to do this again. I have to get on here and speak again. And that is just the way that it needs to be. That's just the way that it is. It's just the way that it is. But I know for me, the reason why I am on top of me being sick right now and being miserable in that way, it is letting myself get into a financial rut again. And it's stressing me the frick out. It's stressing me out. And then I know what everyone will say. Oh, well, it's time to do this, time to do that. You got to do this, you got to do that. Yeah, I know that. I know that. And see, with me, the problem is, it's very hard not to be hypocritical in these videos because what I want to tell you, I'm not even doing some of those things. But what I know needs done, it's like I just don't see anybody doing the things that actually need to be done besides what we want to do or how people see life in their subjective way. That's like two different things. You see, we can't intermingle those two things. The way that you see the world subjectively has nothing to do with surviving and to do the things that needs to be done. And on here, on my platform, this is why it might seem very confusing or whatever, because there's going to be that constant contradiction going on. There's going to be that continual contradiction going on. I can't help that. I just can't do anything about that. And that's why I've been in this thing lately where I said, well, do I want to do it this way? Do I really want to talk about these things? Do I want to do this or do I want to do that? Should I do this and not that? Or and the whole thing is just, it's too freaking confusing. It's just too I'm putting way too much thought and energy into thinking about it. It's just like, just do it. Just freaking do it. What does it matter? Like, I started uploading my writings. I write them first, then I go to the website and type them in, and I said, look, just do it. Just do it. Just go do it. And that's what I've been doing. But see, me focusing on that stuff, now, the other things that I need to focus on, all that other bull crap, I'm worried about all that other stuff. You see what I'm saying? So with me, when I know that I will have what I need, I will have food and I know I'll have shelter, that is when I will say to myself, this is good enough. This is good enough. And anything I want to do, any extracurricular activity, any hobby, any extra thing, okay, then I can focus on doing that. But it just, I'm actually saying this for those of you who are like working a job, or you have a home and you have a car and you have whatever, and you're financially good and you might be bored. You might not know what to do. You might be like, I feel this way, and that way. Look, man, you can't take for granted that you got what you need. You got what you need. Stop worrying. Stop worrying about it. Stop worrying about stuff. Don't drive yourself freaking mad. Focus on what do you want to do? What is something that you have a passion for? What is something that you got to express all the time? What is something that it doesn't matter what it is? Is it mental health? Is it artistical? Is it music? Is it writing? Is it exercising? Is it servitude? Is it, I don't know, taking hikes in the mountains? Skydiving? Is it things like shadow work? Is it saying that you are the miserable person? Is it in dark comedy? Is it in dark humor? I don't know. I don't know for another person. But all that I am saying here is I need to stop putting an expectation to, how can I say this to make this make sense? We put these, I'm going to say we because it's not really me that does this. I don't do this. I see a lot of other people doing this. So I can't be a hypocrite about this because I don't do it. I don't force myself to live up to these platitudes or to live up to these things, how I know that I'm not really feeling, how I know what's really not going on with me. I can't act like that is not what it is when I know that it isn't that, and I'm trying to make it be that thing. And this is what a lot of the world does. This is how a lot of us have been conditioned to respond. This whole movement with, be this way, be that way. If you're not this, it's not enough. If you're not doing this, you haven't done enough and whatever. And it's just ridiculous. Do you have what you need? Do you have food today to eat? Do you have shelter? Do you have clothing that you wear? Do you, you know what I mean? Do you have a car to get around in? Do you have the bare necessities? Then you're fine. You're fine. Like what I'm trying to say here is stop trying to live up to this expectation of the world or saying that you have to be somehow more than what you already are. Be the thing, be already what is. And life is always it's always some kind of thing going on there. It's always something going on. It doesn't matter if it's this most simple thing, then talk about the most simple thing. And sometimes there's nothing to do. There's nothing that can be done about anything. It's just happening. It's just happening how it's happening. And what is the point of this video right now? What is the point of it? There is no point to it. It's just to rest in now. It's just to accept that what's happening now is happening now. What is being said now is being said now. Don't hold me to this later because I'm not going to be thinking the same exact thing later. See, it's almost like the only expectation we should have is to have what we need to survive. That should be the only expectation. All these expectations, we should completely get rid of them because expectations only force people to do what they know they really don't want to do or they know that they are not willing to do. So then it becomes this motivation, this you gotta try. You need to be happy, be positive, you gotta do something about your situation. Yeah, but no, it's a yes and a no. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's a yes and a no. Like if you're in a rut, of course you need to do something to cope. You're going to need to either talk about it or you're going to either need to take a long walk to get your endorphins flowing. I don't know what the person has to do. Maybe you need to call someone that you know and talk with them for a while. Maybe you need to go on a long boat ride if you have a boat. Maybe you need to take a long trip somewhere if you have the financial ability to do that. It's like you got to start being brutally honest with yourself. If we don't start being brutally honest here, then it's even in the futility, that's even more futile. And I know this video, there's always this there's always this thought in our mind like, well, what's next? What's next? What are you going to say next? What's coming? Whatever. And it's like there doesn't really have to be anything, really. To be truthfully honest, there really doesn't have to be anything next. There doesn't have to be anything coming. But yet, finding something that we can do that others relate to that gives us the ability to keep doing that thing. And this is why I keep talking about, but I know most people are not going to listen to what I'm saying. I know most people ain't going to hear what I'm saying. But this is why I keep talking about this people. But see, in and of this is very hard to describe too, because it isn't just like, oh, well, this we're gonna do this, or this is gonna happen, and that's gonna happen, and that's how it is. It's not that simple. It's really not that simple. But it's getting to a place, having to use all of these things that is in this world right now, that we have the tools to use with, to get to the most self-sustaining spot we can be in. And I feel like a hypocrite because I'm not there yet, and I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off at myself, and I'm pissed off at the world, and I'm pissed off. But really, I can only be pissed off just to be pissed off right now. I can't blame myself. I can't get down on myself. I can't blame other people. I can't blame nothing. I have to just say, look, it didn't happen for some reason. It's not happening for some reason. But if there is not some kind of action on my part, then it's not going to happen how I want it to happen. It's just that plain and simple. But in the action, it is not me trying to do anything. It is just getting to a point of having what I need to survive. And then when the thing gets done that is needed to survive, then it's like, okay, now I'm on my own way again. Now it's back to the hobby, or back to the silence, or back to doing whatever I do. The whole other thing that comes with it that most people think they need to do, it's just not for me. And I'm not going to get into details because I can't speak for other people out there. I just can't. I can't speak for other people. And I know this might not be making any sense. This might not be making any sense to any of you, but I'm done trying to make sense of this, is what I'm saying. I'm done trying to make sense of this. Absolutely done. Resting there is hard. Basically, what I'm saying. Like, resting in the fact that you have enough. See, this thing, like boredom is something that is always getting us to force ourselves to do something because we're bored. If you really, really think about it, boredom is also a conditioned thinking. It's like, what if we were told, just think about this. What if we were told ever since we were babies that when we die, it's a good thing? It's not a bad thing. It's something that is worthy when it happens. Like, what if we were told the opposite from what we were told? Then we would believe that thing. But no, our whole lives we've been being told that death is bad, dying is a horrible thing, and all these other things are horrible. Well, what if we were told that they were a good thing when it does come? What if we were told that uh, death is the ultimate endpoint, and that's when you don't have to worry anymore? I'm just using this as an example. Like, what if we were told the opposite of what we were told? Then more than likely we would believe the opposite. It goes with the same thing that everything we have ever been told. And I don't know if I said that right, but it goes with everything that we've ever been told in our lives. Everything that we've ever been told in our lives. We've been conditioned to label or to try to fix something or to make it seem as though or force something. And the whole thing, when you see for yourself how wrong it is with your own aura, then you're not in denial of it anymore. Basically, what I'm saying is there is this denial thing going on. And most people are constantly trying to tell themselves things to make them feel some way that they don't really feel. And they're not getting to the point. They're not just saying, if they're like, I have been in a bad time. I have not been doing okay lately. Things have not been going well. We just can't say that because we're so scared of these other people that been told you have to be positive, you got to be happy, you can't feel that way. Why would you feel that way? And it's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit when people do this, because all they're doing is forcing you to feel how you really don't feel, and they don't even let you feel how you feel. See, this is why I personally do not like communicating with most people. This is why I tend to not even, if I'm being honest, like most people, because they're always forcing their stuff on you. They're always trying to tell you how to be. They're always trying to tell you how you should feel, or why are you feeling like that? You shouldn't feel like that. You shouldn't say that. But yet, people that even know this, they still have that conditioning in their mind. They still have it to even say to people. And like I said, I'll leave the link in the comments down below if I remember it. It's from this guy that's like, don't try to fix yourself. And the video is called Life Sucks, unfortunately. But see, how many people are going to watch a video that says life sucks? Not too many people. Because right there, the denial comes up. Oh no, life doesn't suck for me. Oh no, I'm not doing bad. Oh no, I don't have problems. I'm not a human. I'm not a human being. And this is why I hesitate to do so much, to do so many things in my life with other people, because I know what's going to come with a lot of this stuff. And it's just not really wanting to deal with all of that stuff. It's just wanting to get what needs to be done first. It's focusing on survival first and working together to survive first, because that's the most important thing. And obtaining the resources to do that. And then when that's done, okay, you have free time to do whatever you do. And then that's what I mean by self-sustaining. But most people are they're focusing on all the wrong things today. They're focusing on this. I gotta get to this place in my life where I'm altogether good, where I'm rich and everything's this way. Yeah, that would help you with the needs thing. You wouldn't have to worry so much. But it's still not getting what someone like me is talking about. It's still not understanding the essence of what I'm saying when I say these things. And to describe it, it's very hard to describe through words. It's very hard to get the whole picture of what I'm really saying here. It's basically coming together for a common survival, but yet not coming together for a common subjectivity, because our subjectivity will never match up. I can't try to be like you, and you can't try to be like me. Like, I can't try to be like anybody else. I can't write like another person. I can't make music like another person. Any hobby I do, anything I do, I can't be like another person. I just can't. And I don't care about other people's opinions of me. I don't care, because their opinion is not for me. Their advice is not for me. Our own advice is our own advice. Our own opinions are for ourselves. This is why I don't believe in advice. I don't believe in advice. I don't believe in it. I believe in being honest. I believe in authenticity. I believe in being real. I believe in saying it how it really is, even if it hurts, because listen, whether we want to admit it or not, the truth has never set anybody free. The truth hurts, if we're being honest. Now, I know Jesus Christ said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. I know that was said by him. I'm talking about, and I know other people have said about truth in certain ways. I'm just using how other people said about truth. J. Krishnamurti said, truth is a pathless land. Now, I would say truth for me, truth is honesty. Truth is saying it how it really is. And not hiding behind yourself, not hiding behind these platitudes, not hiding behind, oh, I'm okay, I'm good, when you're really not. And this is why, if someone judges you, fuck it, let them judge you, because all they're judging is themselves when they judge you. Do we judge each other? Yes, we judge each other. Right when I say something, you're judging me. We can't help from judging. We're always judging each other. The word judge, the way you interpret it. But the thing is, no one thing that you are, another person is not going to be. And this is what it means, what I mean by accepting each other's subjectivity, but not expecting to get involved with each other's subjectivity. Like, if you like what someone is doing subjectively, that's fine. That's cool. Now I'm getting off train of thought here, so I'm not going to keep forcing it, because then I'm going to be saying things I don't really mean. But I did want to get more into what I was just saying now, because I was getting somewhere with where I did want to settle on that, but unfortunately I lost train of thought here on it. Because that's what I believe in. That's what I believe in. I believe in being genuine. You see, I believe in speaking what's really on your mind, my mind. I believe in people that are trustworthy unto themselves first. If you can't trust yourself, how the hell can how can I ever trust someone that doesn't even trust themselves? You see what I mean? I believe in that. I believe that even if you are broke, I believe even if you are going through some kind of crisis, even if you are going through change, even if you're not sure of yourself, be honest. Be honest with it. Okay, some people are going to say some things. Some people are going to judge. Some people are going to, throw tomatoes and cabbage at you while you're walking through the crowd. Who gives a shit? Who cares? We're not in the times of French Revolution and stuff anymore. We're not in those days anymore. We're out of those days. And more than likely, we're not going back to those days. So, and there's something that I want to end it with. I'm going to end it with this. There's something that in the movie, at the beginning of the movie Napoleon, I was watching a clip of the beginning scene where Marie Antoinette is being led to, the thing that comes down. I can't believe I can't think of it. I said it a million times, but whatever. But anyway, it says 1789 Revolution in France. Quote, people are driven by misery to revolution and brought back by revolution to misery. That is the best quote that I have heard in the beginning of a movie for a very long time. The author understood contradiction. It understood understanding itself. And I'm going to say it one more time. People are driven by misery to revolution and brought back by revolution to misery. So therefore, it's kind of like saying we are in the revolution itself and let's not cause another revolution. There's no need for another revolution because things are how they are and we have to work with things how they are. We have to live with what we are dealing with. We have to accept that this is how things are, but it doesn't have to be how things are with everything. And I know how this sounds. I know how this sounds cliche, and I know how this sounds like, oh, well, I already know this. But everything that we're talking about, everything that we're ever doing, everything we're ever expressing, it's we might be doing it a little bit different, but actually you really can't separate yourself from everything. Like you can't do it. You can't separate yourself from the fact that you and I need help from other people. Even though we might not like the company of some people, even though we might not be able to stand some people, even though we might disagree in all these things. The thing is, we still all need each other here. Now, it doesn't mean we're associating with each other in real life personally. It doesn't mean that, the person down the street working, that you're ever going to see them in their lives. But the thing is, this whole thing with independence, it's a thought, it's a state of mind, it's a, I don't know. I don't know the word to use, but it's, as long as we are here, we are going to need each other, and we're going to need people. Now, me as a person, if I'm being honest with you, I would rather get away from most humanity as much as I can, if I'm being honest. I want to be in my own isolation. I want to be somewhere with maybe with people that understand my position, that understand this whole thing, whatever to call it, because I can't call it anything. I don't know a label to call it, because I'm not an organization. I'm not any of that, even though I might have to use certain things to do certain things. It doesn't mean that I want to be associated with any particular thing. And I was watching another video too from Pierre XO's channel, and he was kind of talking about these things too, how when we're in a crisis, that means change. Change will happen with crisis. The word crisis, that's what it means when you have a midlife crisis. It's change that's happening. And there's nothing we can do about that, but change is going to force us to change whether we want to change or not. You see what I'm saying? It's going to force us to change whether we want to change or not. And the world is always changing. That's just how it is. And people not accepting that is causing just unnecessary things that don't need to be caused. You see what I'm saying? Trying to be a way that you're not, or trying to act like something is not happening, is just further getting into the denial, and it's doing all of that other thing that is going on in our lives. But then again, what do you do? Because we have to cope too. So it's like this. If you ask me, it's like this thing saying to yourself, like, stop trying to win. There's no winning. There's just surviving. There's finding a hobby. There's doing things that if you really have a passion for, or some creative thing that you really love, then do it. It's just that simple. It's that plain and simple. Thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it, you're only going to keep thinking about it. And if you're someone that has obsessive, compulsive thinking like I do, then maybe you need to go to a therapist. Maybe you need to do whatever you need to do for that. I'm not saying that I wouldn't go to a therapist, or I'm not going to go to a therapist, because I might here soon. But I've been debating on whether I want to do that here on this channel, or I want to go do that, because if I would start talking about things on this channel, how people would associate me, like this, all of this, how people would associate me, all of this thing, and then compared to my art and my writing and my music and stuff, they're kind of two different things, if I'm being honest, but yet they kind of are the same thing, but they're separate at the same time. Yet again, it's always that yin yang going on. It's always that contradiction going like this, and then 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 like this. That's just what's happening all the time. And I don't know. I don't know any other way to speak. I don't know any other way to talk than to speak and talk this way. I really don't. I don't know how else to do it. So if this doesn't do whatever, then I have to accept that and say, okay, Nate, well, this isn't doing what you thought it was doing. So what is something else I could be doing? Or what is something else that I want to have an interest in while I'm here? What is something that I do want to focus on? What is something that I do need to do? It's just that it's that easy. It's really that easy, even though it seems hard and we make it hard, and we all do this. We all do this because we're human beings. So anyway, I'm going to end the video on there. Uh, Please, for any support on my channel, go to the links below. I got everything down there. I'm sure all of you by now know how to use YouTube and the internet. I really don't like telling people to keep subscribing or liking or go to my Medium to read my writings and go to my PayPal to donate. I don't want to keep doing that. Look, but I will say, if you want to support me, go in the links below and please help support me because I need the support. I need the help. So if you do, thank you. I appreciate it. Later, and I will talk with y'all again. Goodbye.